Hi, friends in Brit. I just wanted to give you an update today on what you need to be doing today and what's coming up for next week. As per usual, tomorrow I will post the lecture about parts 3 and 4 of Gowan and the Green Knight, and along with that I will post kind of the answer key to the quiz once everybody has taken it. I did want to give you a heads up about the quiz, so it is posted now. It's over parts, again, 3 and 4 of Gowan and the Green Knight, and it is in Edmodo. But there is this time a short answer question, and I have never done that to you before, so I didn't want you to think that was a glitch. You normally have questions that are either multiple choice or true false, and so this one will require you to type in the answer. Whatever you think the answer is, you're going to type it instead of selecting it. So that's not a glitch, that's on purpose. And that, as per usual, is due at 11:59 p.m. tonight. Like all the others, it's a 6-minute time limit once you start it. So what's coming up next week is your actual test. So you don't have any new reading assignment this week because your first test in the class is coming up. And so on next Thursday, or this coming Thursday now, that's when your exam is. Excuse me. So there is a bit of a change from the way that I do exams in person. With online tests, there is just such a temptation for people to cheat, and this is how I decided to handle it, which was to just make it an equal playing field for everybody, because I don't think it's fair. Like, I've taught this class before online, and frankly, I feel like there were some people who were cheating and others who weren't, and others who were really trying to do the work, and I didn't think it was fair to those other people. And so I've just decided to make it, whether this is right or wrong, I've just decided to make it easier for everybody across the board, but I do still have a very firm cheating line that I'm going to be investigating. So here's how that's going to go. And this is on your assignment schedule. But your exam that's coming up, it's going to cover Beowulf. There's going to be one section that talks about everything ravaged, everything burned, and it's going to cover Gowan and the Green Knight. So those 3 things. And it is going to be open book and open note. And what that means is that you are welcome to actually use the texts themselves during the test, and you are welcome to use any lecture material that I put on Edmodo. So you can use the videos, you can use any like posts that I put out there, like anything that counts, or notes that you took on the lectures that I gave. What it is not, and I want to make this as clear as humanly possible, the test is not open internet. The test is not open internet. So what that means is you cannot just go to Google and look up the answers. You can't just go to SparkNotes, you can't just go to Wikipedia, because if you are typing stuff into the test that did not come from me, because I know about the material that I gave you, then I will know that you got it from Dr. Internet, and I'm going to count that as cheating. So as a reminder, the plagiarism policy for English classes, and you did sign this, is that if I catch somebody plagiarizing or cheating, I have the right to either give you a 0 on that particular assignment, in this case it would be a test, or I have a right to fail you for the entire course. So just know that, as my old boss said, cheating in school is like going into an 8-lane highway to pick up a nickel. The risk far outweighs the reward, so it's just not really worth it. And in this instance, I will be able to tell, because I will know whether you're quoting from something that I gave you, or whether you're quoting from the text, or whether you've just gone to the wiki or Schmoop or whatever, because trust me, I'm going to have those sources up as well, and I'm going to be checking to make sure that nobody's taking from them. So again, open book, open note, not open internet. So the 2 things you're allowed to look at for the test, during the test, are the actual texts themselves, or lectures and notes that I gave you in the video lectures that I did. The test is 20% of your grade every time. So there's 3 tests in the course. The final test I actually kind of break up into like 2 sittings to make it a little easier. There's the very last thing you'll do is an essay, and you actually have time to prepare that. And then before that, there's kind of a larger quiz over Hamlet. But this test is 20 points altogether. And 20% of your grade. So, some of you have missed quizzes here and there, and I've contacted you about it. A missed quiz is not the end of the world because it's 1 point, but this is 2 letter grades. So it is something to take seriously. Now, some of you, if you're like the way I used to be as a student in high school, particularly in high school, is if you hear open book, open note, you're going to think, well, I don't really need to study, then I'm just going to be able to look stuff up. Well, I wouldn't do that. You still need to be, you do need to study because you need to be familiar enough with the text in order to look through it and find what you're looking for. And you need to be familiar enough with you're not going to be able to sit there during the test and listen to my lecture. You're going to need to have already done that and taken notes and be able to refer back to them. Not studying at all is going to be a bad time, to quote the South Park episode about skiing. But that's how it works. Let me give you just kind of a rundown of what the test will look like. First, there is a matching section, and it is characters. And that is the section where everything ravaged, everything burned will be. There will be characters mixed in together from Everything Ravaged, Everything Burned, from Beowulf, and from Sir Gawain and the Green Knight. And then there's going to be descriptions. And so on Edmodo, you're just going to be matching the name of the character to the character's description. Then there is something called quote ID. And in the post where I post this video, I'll kind of give you an idea of what a quote ID question looks like. Normally on a regular handwritten test, I would have everything spaced out. But the matching questions, I think, are 1/3 of a point apiece. So like every 3 matching questions is 1 point. Every quote ID question is 3 points. You're going to have 6 quotes on there, but you will only be choosing 4 to fill out. And that way, if you just kind of missed something or didn't understand something as well, or didn't do a reading one day or whatever, it's, there's 4 that you have to identify and write about, but you have 6 choices. So on the 2 quotes that you decide not to write about, in the blank on the test, you're going to write omit. Or you can just leave it blank. It's totally your choice. But at least I'll know that you made a conscious decision to omit it as opposed to there being some kind of a glitch. So it would help me if you wrote omit. So again, 6 quotes, but you will only write about 4. When that quote comes up, you're going to have to identify what text it came from. And it's going to be pretty easy because it's either going to be Beowulf or Gawain and the Green Knight. The short story I did not put on the test at all for the quote ID portion. It's only in the matching. So it's either going to be from Beowulf or Gawain. And I will be asking you contextual questions like what is happening here, who is being spoken to, who is speaking, and then there'll be kind of a larger mini essay question that's like asking about the greater significance of what's going on in that moment. So again, that's where you're going to need kind of my lecture notes and videos and stuff like that. And then the last is a kind of a minor essay, and there's minor essays and major essays. When there's a major essay on a test, that's like a 5-paragraph essay. It's like a bigger one. A minor essay, to me, is what I call a fat paragraph of at least 10 sentences. So when I say minor essay, that's what I'm looking for. It's just a question that's going to ask you about your opinion about one of the texts, and you have to make an argument, and you can use the textual evidence to support your argument, and that's it. There's no wrong or right answer. It's just kind of showing me how much you paid attention to the story in order to be able to argue for your opinion about it. So that's it. It's section 1 is matching. Section 2 is quote ID. There will be 6 quotes to identify, but you only have to identify 4. Don't be a hero. There is no reason to do more than 4. None. You don't get extra credit. So just pick your 4 and strategize and focus on them. And then the last section is the minor essay. This test is timed, and I give you the same amount of time that you would have in a hypothetical physical class period, which is 80 minutes. I have never had any problem with anybody needing more than that, like ever. Most of the time, to tell you the truth, people take about 50 to 60 minutes to do it, and then the extra 20 is just kind of there. It's just kind of gravy. But I just never wanted to assign stuff to people after the test because they were always so wiped. So it's never really taken anybody 80 minutes to do it. I'm just giving you the whole hypothetical class period to get it done. Really, realistically, it takes people about 50. So, but that being said, take your time. Don't rush through it. Feel free to check back over stuff. It is a big section of your grade. There will be also, like per usual, there will be some discussion prompts for this week that I'll post about the end of Gawain and the Green Knight. And I forgot to show you this before, so I've been kind of playing with it. My husband, completely without realizing, bought me a Green Man pendant when he went to there's the green, and there's this kind of leafy face. He went to Dragon Con without me one year, and he brought me back that as a present. He didn't even know anything about the Green Man. He didn't know that I taught Gone in the Green Knight, but he just liked it and made it think of me, so wanted to put that on for you. Discussion prompts, and then just studying for the test. There's no other homework, there's no other reading. I just want you to feel as prepared as you can for the test, and familiar enough with the material that I'm allowing you to use to feel like you can do well in it. So if you have any questions, let me know. As for today, your job is just to, if you haven't participated in this week's discussion yet, thank you to those of you who had. There are some questions about Michaelmas, the Michaelmas holiday, which we passed on Tuesday, and there are some questions about the beginning of Gone in the Green Knight. So go ahead and answer those if you haven't yet. And then again, make sure you take that quiz, and it's due tonight about midnight. And then from here on out, and the following week, you are just preparing for the test and doing the discussions. So if you have any questions at all, let me know. We are almost done with our first unit in the class. Then we'll be moving into kind of what I call high medieval and Chaucer, and a little bit more about the medieval history and how it applies to the literature. If you have any questions, let me know. And I'm rambling, so I'll just stop it now. See you later. Bye.